On this episode of the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino, we've got the GOAT. Patty Gasso joins us to talk all things OU softball heading into the postseason. Then in football, Guys Talkin Basketball, we recap the Thunder's win over the Denver Nuggets in Game 5, and we finish up with our winners and losers of the week. Please download and subscribe to the podcast, rate it 5 stars, and write us a good review. Follow the show on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Just search Oklahoma Breakdown on any of those, and you'll find us. All right, our man Michael Hosty will kick this thing off. It's time for the Oklahoma Breakdown. It's a beautiful Wednesday, May 14th, and you're listening to the Oklahoma Breakdown with Ikard and Lehman, presented by Riverwind Casino. Riverwind is Oklahoma City's premier casino experience, and there are so many reasons why Riverwind is consistently voted OKC's #1 casino, but it all starts with their amazing variety of gaming thrills and excitement. Riverwind's beautiful, award-winning environment plays host to more than 2,800 of the latest electronic games with a huge selection of table games, including blackjack match, roulette, and Teddy's favorite, craps. No matter what your game, Riverwind has it in spades and hearts. And to learn more about their gaming promotions and entertainment options, all you got to do is visit riverwind.com. Riverwind Casino, good times, great rewards. We start pretty much every episode of this podcast with OU football, except for when we're joined by the GOAT.
That's right.
Let's get right to it. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Patty Gasso. It is our pleasure to be joined by the greatest softball coach on planet Earth. Patty Gasso is in the house. Coach, how we doing?
I'm good. I'm excited about the next couple of weeks for sure.
I bet I don't know. It's a long season. You guys play a ton of games. So I imagine when you get to this point, there's a renewed energy around the facility.
There is. We're such a new team. I'll tell you, the season went by quicker than I am shocked that we're already here because personally, I feel like we have so much more to learn. But I feel great. Usually I'm exhausted and like, okay, let's just push through this. I am so exuberant with this team, especially with what they've done in the SEC, which is absolutely ridiculous. And walking away with 2 trophies. I'm like, you guys will forever be in our history books. You were the first team to do it in the SEC in your first year. So I love seeing them every day because they work hard every day. It's very easy to coach this group.
It's interesting, Coach, because the last couple of years you've mentioned kind of feeling the pressure because of the experienced team you had, but it sounds like it feels different for you because of all the youth, all the new faces. What's that feeling like?
It just renews me a little bit. And no offense, I mean, I had last year, in the last 4 years, some of the greatest college softball players that have ever played anywhere, all on one team. So they didn't, that sounds pathetic. They didn't need me, so I'm just kind of standing in the corner like, hey, if you need help, let me know. Just kind of out of their way because they knew exactly what they needed to do. This team needs guidance. They need just the fact that I've been around, I think kind of helps them just stay grounded. But they're excitable. They're fired up. They just pretty fearless, not getting caught up in like, we have to win a 5th. If anybody were to think that, you certainly know they don't know sport or they don't know softball or this program because we are such a new group. But they just keep doing it. They do it in big ways. They do it in walk-off fashion, which is not great probably for my heart, but it just renews me as a kid. Like this is so fun to watch them have so much joy.
Yeah. You mentioned how brutal the SEC was. I know everyone knows 7 out of the 8 top seeds. I think everyone expected that it was going to be really difficult, but was it more difficult? Maybe it was because of some of the new players, but how was the conference compared to your expectations going in?
Probably tougher. I knew it was going to be tough, but every team you play has experience. They have elite players. So you walk in and you're hoping let's win 2 out of 3, and then we sweep a team. And I'm like, wow, how'd we do that? I walk away going, how did we do that? And the fact that and we lost a couple series, but we also swept a few series, and that was really, really important for us going forward. But it's tough. The environment is tough. The intensity of the game is at a different level. The coaches aren't friends. They're just kind of like, hey, it's not like, hey, how you doing? It's like, and it's just different. The Big 12, I just remember the Big 8, actually. I'm still one of the people around that knows what a Big 8 conference is. You played a hard game, and then you'd hug, as coaches, you'd hug afterwards and say, wow, that was fun. We made each other better. This isn't that. This is like, yeah. So, I don't know. It elevates me as well. I mean, I don't know. I think it was fun to see us, to me, do things that were almost impossible with so many new players.
How do you feel playing in the SEC has prepared you guys for the postseason? And does it feel different than these last 4 teams that have gone on to win national championships in a weird way, even with all the new faces? Do you feel like they're more prepared for the pressure that comes with the postseason because of what you guys faced in the regular season?
Yeah, I mean, that's it exactly. Playing in the Big 12, you had some big rival games, Texas, Oklahoma State, and then after that, it was just kind of a game. This was battle, 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 8 series of absolute battle, trying to be at your best. So as there are times last year playing in the Big 12, I'm like, I don't think we played enough tough teams to have us ready for this. Now I'm like, and there's no doubt we know what it feels like. And we're walking in, I feel so much more prepared from the mental side and the physical side than when we're in the Big 12.
Did you feel like uh, not being able to play the championship game in the SEC tournament, did you feel like maybe that was a missed opportunity to continue to build that experience playing in those pressure situations, or were you okay with how it all played out?
I was okay with how it played out. I think especially because of the way we won our last game, it's very dramatic. There was a lot of big emotions, and it took us into that championship game. But Texas A&M and ourselves are very close in wins and losses and RPIs, and so you calculate it all. Either one of us could have been 1 or 2, so it really didn't matter so much to me. I would not have put our team on that field. It was too wet, too rainy, not worth the effort to get somebody hurt. So we still walked home with another trophy. So look, we still were co-champs, but somehow we have the trophy. Maybe it's because we were the #1 seed going in.
What what was your players' reaction when you had to tell them, like, hey guys, we're not playing this championship game?
I think they knew because it was raining all day long and they wouldn't let us leave the field. And Commissioner Sankey was on site, and there was all kinds of phone calls and weather service. I mean, they wanted to everything in their power to make that game go, but we were realizing this wasn't going to happen. I told them, I mean, it's going to have to break open, clear, and dry this field in the next couple hours before I would even let us play on the field, and it never happened. So. There's no way that it's the right decision. There was no way we couldn't stay over on Sunday. That would be a disadvantage for both of us to have a day and a half less of rest and preparation time for the tournament.
Well, yeah, it's here. It's going to be honest before we know it. What are, in your mind, some of the handful of things maybe that you really got to improve, dial in before this stretch run?
Yeah, I like where we're at. What I want to make sure of is that we keep our mindset clear. They've been playing really, really free. And part of our problem going through the SEC were nerves. And you could feel it and you could see it and you could see the inability to take a deep breath in at times and just mine got foggy and we do a couple things like what are we doing? And you could feel that early. Think later in the season, we woke up. I think the Florida and the Alabama, we lost both series, but they taught us the most, which was really important for us. So I believe that it's important that we go in with our mind clear and just confidence and thinking we're playing at home. What a great advantage instead of, oh, wow, it's so much louder than I've ever heard it. Or, they can look at it two different ways. We need to go in with a mature approach. We are battle tested. So we're working off of those types of mentalities right now.
Clearly, pitching is a massive, massive part of having success in the postseason. Sam Landry has been really, really good as your ace, but when you look at the staff as a whole, how are you feeling about your pitching staff as we approach the regional?
Well, obviously, Sam has had a little more experience. Audrey Lowry is, when you get to a place where you're like, okay, I am living in my mind in a place that is pretty solid. Like you can't rattle me. I'm very cool and calm internally. Our freshman Audrey Lowry has found that, and it showed, and is a big part of us getting to that championship game. Kirsten Deal is an important part of this, and she has the stuff. Sometimes her mind goes in and out of that place, and that's when there might be an inning where she gets touched up a little bit, but she's really working to get there and stay there. It's really hard. I think you guys know as athletes, you can look at somebody and know, oh my gosh, you're in the zone. You're so in the zone. They don't they sometimes they won't even talk to you because they're so in the zone. And that is where a couple of our athletes have found themselves, which is amazing. The hard part, like I said, is staying there. And if pitchers give up a couple hits, then doubt creeps in, the face change, the body language changes. So we just really just got to be tough competitors. And if you know how to get to that zone, whatever you got to do to get there, because it can do amazing things when you know how to get there.
I feel like obviously the sport continues to get more and more competitive. And I don't know. I feel like oftentimes you go into the postseason, you can maybe boil it down to a handful of teams that are really the strongest out there. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but is this kind of the most wide open it's been as far as teams that have a chance to go out and win the whole thing?
I think especially since we graduated all of the athletes, everyone's
That's
saying
probably what
they've
changed
got
it all.
their mark on OU, which is okay because we're showing things that I didn't expect. But I think there's probably six teams out of the SEC that could win it all easily. I would add in there Florida State, UCLA, Oregon, uh, probably missing somebody. Um, but I'd say the SEC hasn't won a national championship in more than a few years. So they
Well, whose
are,
fault is that, coach?
that's why everyone does not, they're like, get out of here. We don't want you in our conference. So, okay. Um, so I do think it's more wide open. And usually when you get to the national championship series or in the College World Series, it's pitchers in the zone. Kelly Maxwell was in the zone. You could see it locked in, never rattled, never wavered, just there, locked in. And it takes a pitcher. If a pitcher can get there, it's really hard. to go up against them when their stuff is just absolutely elite. But to be honest, the team that knows how to get there the easiest is us because we've been there and we know what it feels like and we know how to embrace that crowd. Um, and that's another thing where everyone's like, move the World Series somewhere else. It's an unfair advantage. What do you want us to do? Tell half of the stadium to leave because we're playing? Come on. So you just got to know how to deal with it. And there are teams that have been to the World Series that understand it. I think Florida State is a good example of that. A couple others, but the crowd at the World Series and the crowd here at Love's can change the outcome of a game pretty quickly.
I'm hoping to do my part on Friday. I'll be there, coach.
I'll be watching you. I know where you'll be sitting, so
I
see how many beer cans are lined up on that
There will
row.
be several. But I am bringing my children, so
Okay, well,
Tiger's gonna have to stay in the cage just a little bit, but
yeah,
we'll be getting after it up there. Come on.
yeah, it's gonna be fun.
I wanted to ask you about Ella Parker because she's been battling through the injury. It seems like she's displayed some serious toughness, and I feel like that's inspiring her team when she's going, especially some of the stuff she's doing on the base pass. What has it been like watching Ella work through that energy or that injury and go out and battle this season?
I'm proud of her, but my heart hurts for her because she's hurting. She's got fractures in her shins, and it's a long story that I don't need to get into, but there's just no way to heal it without absolute rest. Like she's gonna have to take the summer off and let that heal and do some rehab for it. But every step that she takes, if it's in hard movement like running, is just kind of shivering up her body. It's that much pain, but she didn't handle it very well early in the season. You could see her numbers display that. But now that she's had a better understanding of how to handle the pain, and we put her in a boot, we take her out of her cleats. I mean, she's changing her shoes all the time because of us trying to get her comfortable. But she's toughened it out, and I'm really proud of what she's done for this team. And she's really getting hot. But it's unfortunate, but she's the best hitter, I think, swing wise, one of the best I've seen. And she's bringing it back and helping the team and just fighting through it. And I've been really proud of that because she could have easily tapped out and said, I can't, but she's fighting through it.
Well, you've had a lot of young players really improve throughout the year. Who are some of the players you feel like have done the most? Because it's a unique mix of new players and young players trying to find that chemistry, and it feels like there's been a lot of growth from the young players throughout the season.
Yeah, right now, I think Gabby Garcia, our freshman shortstop, she's up for a Golden Glove Award given by Rawlings. And I think she's had 3 errors on the season, and she handles a lot of balls coming her way. So, and offensively, she had the walk off. I think she leads our team in home runs now. So I never expected that. You just look at her as kind of small, but she's got a beautiful swing. Uh, Ilana Agbayani at second base is really fun to watch on defense. She just can cover so much and her offense has really stepped forward. So I'm proud of that as well. Uh, Nellie McEnroe Moranis, our third baseman, voted captain, never played an inning of college softball. So she's a redshirt freshman that's helping lead the way. Sid Sanders, our senior at first, is starting to get hot, which we really need right now. And another one of the cleanest hitters I've seen is Cassidy Pickering. We put her in the leadoff spot. She leads our team in average and power numbers and so forth. this last weekend, I had another freshman get in there to start. She just went after it. Her name is Sydney Barker, and she's going to be back in that lineup because she had 2 home runs against Arkansas, against one of the better pitchers in the country. She's just such a competitor, and we've just trying to find a place for her to fit, but she proved it. And to me, right now, I just was saying this yesterday at practice. If you're sitting on the bench and you're wondering why you're not in, ask yourself what you're doing at practice, because I'm paying very close attention to your hustle, your execution, your how you work with your team. Are you excited to be out there? And those are your opportunities. And if you come to practice and it's like, oh, it's too hot, or oh, I'm so tired, I'm sorry. And Sydney Barker never wavers on that. She's always a baller at practice, and that means something to me. That means I can trust you.
We'll get you back to the interview, but first, hitting the highway, remember to stop at Love's Travel Stops. You can't miss the heart of the highway, and with the Love's app, you can also save big. How big? 10 or 15 cents big. Save 10 cents per gallon on gas and 15 cents per gallon on auto diesel. Save with the Love's app today and be welcomed by clean places and friendly faces. Certain conditions may apply. See loves.com for details.
You listen to this podcast to get insight from the guys who played the game. Why don't you take that same approach when it comes to buying your beef? When you order from Didier Ranch, you are getting your beef directly from the people who raise it. A rancher knows what it takes to have premium quality beef. Didier Ranch has done it for over 100 years right here in Oklahoma. From delicious 21-day dry-aged ribeyes to savory steak burgers, there is no better place to get your beef. Get your beef from the guys who've done it and use code Oklahoma15 for 15% off on DidierRanch.com. Didier Ranch, tradition tastes better.
And we are brought to you by Simple Modern, an Oklahoma-owned company and the official drinkware partner of the OU Sooners. Vacation season is almost here, and the new Simple Modern Getaway Bag is the perfect companion for every summer adventure. Whether packing for a beach trip, a weekend getaway, or a long road trip, the Getaway Bag's durable rubber sides makes it easy to carry everything you need and just as easy to rinse clean after a day of sand, sun, and fun. It's built to handle it all and go everywhere you want to go this summer. Plus, with 10% of all Simple Modern profits going to charity, many right here in Oklahoma, you're helping Oklahomans everywhere. Simple Modern, it's good everywhere. All right, back to the interview. You lost so much experience over these last couple seasons and so much of your team leadership. Women that had been in all of these battles, knew what to say to their teammates. Like, what has it been like replacing that leadership piece from a player perspective? Who's kind of stepped up and assumed that vocal role that every team needs?
We handed it out to 5 of our returners, and I consider Nellie a returner, although she redshirted. But Nellie, Ella Parker, Cassidy Pickering, Sid Sanders, our only returning senior. I had Hannah Core. She's a kind of a vocal athlete that's kind of in and out, but I handed it to about 5 of them. But sometimes it's Abby Dayton who's in center field. She just has that personality. The 5 that I named, they're just kind of quiet. Pickering doesn't say a lot. Ella Parker doesn't say a lot. Nellie has a voice, but it's I don't know that it's like, wow, it's Nellie and the Sooners. Nellie is leading the Sooners. I think they just know what their job is, and they kind of work together without having to have 2 people saying, you don't do that, don't do that. I think they hold each other accountable throughout, and it's been really amazing to watch.
One of my favorite yearly traditions has become watching the selection show and seeing the other team's reaction whenever they find out they're going to Oklahoma. It's a yearly thing now. And what do you guys say whenever you see that happen?
I don't want to comment. It was Jessica Mendoza that's talking about the Cobra. I had to go back.
Like, yes. No.
It was an immediate surrender cobra from all of the women
Surrender
on Boston
Cobra.
University. I've never seen anything like it.
I wasn't expecting that, but um I they have been here. Cal, Berkeley, and Boston have been here multiple times. So I don't think it's a surrender cobra because I'm afraid. It's a surrender cobra, like, not again. Send us somewhere else. And I don't know that all three teams that are coming have really good pitching. They have really good pitching. So you might look at the name and go, who? Oh yeah. Oh, that's nothing. You can't think that way. You can't look at it that way because pitchers can rule. If you've got really tight grip around the bat, you're not going to do much. So it's really being prepared and going in and being very loose. That's important. But three teams that are coming are going to be challenging, no question.
How do you prevent your team from looking ahead? Because we all see Bama there at the 15 seed. How do you keep them focused on taking care of business in the regional and not being so excited about having another shot at that team here next weekend?
Yeah, that's hard because they pay very close attention to scores. They like to watch other teams play, they like to follow the scores. But I'll tell you, Alabama is in probably one of the toughest regionals. And normally I feel they have a relatively soft regional at times. And it was when they would just bring the teams that are closest to you. Now they're starting to move us around. They're not worrying about so much the money, except in California. You always know who's going to play UCLA. You have no, they're just going to bust you over there. But Virginia Tech is tough, and they have the leading home run hitter and hitter for average in the country there. They've got good pitching as well. They've got a tough regional. And this is I honestly, in the 30 years, 31 years, this is probably the most even uh, selection show I have seen in a long time. I didn't look at anything and go, "Oh no, no way." Everything made sense to me, and I was really happy about that. So it is what it is. If you look at Alabama, you're going to go, whoop, it's Virginia Tech. And then what are you going to do? So you just don't even look, you don't care, you focus. But again, this is a new group, and I'm going to have to really, I'm glad you said that because I'm going to have to groom them to keep their eyes away from their phones and whisper about all of this stuff.
Yeah, it feels like every year, somewhere in the tournament, a team that maybe is flying under the national radar gets real hot. Maybe it's behind a great pitcher. Maybe the bats get hot. But is there a team out there that you've seen is a candidate to maybe come from a lower seeding and do some damage? And maybe it's Virginia Tech, which you mentioned.
Yeah, there were two teams. I'm like, please, no, please don't, please. It's Nebraska and Jordy Ball,
Yeah.
who's had over 20 wins and over 20 home runs, which is pretty amazing. And Texas Tech. I do not want to see Najee Kennedy until we get to the World Series. And pitchers can dominate. Like I said, if you go in and you are tight, a pitcher's going to own you. Those guys throw hard. Their movement is elite. Uh, I would not want to line up with that. And so I was kind of keeping my eye on that. But those are, I think, specifically those two. And well, they got into the 16 seed, but Oregon is going to be a tough battle. They win their regional and they go to the number one Texas A&M. If they pull out, Texas A&M is going to have their hands full because Oregon did not play a tough schedule, and that's why they got seeded where they did. But they are very, very good. So there's going to be a lot of waves going around this next weekend too. So I think there's going to be some upsets in super or in regular regionals.
Coach, over the years when we've had you on, you always talk a little bit about team bonding, whether that's with individual players or as a group. I'm just wondering where the bus breaking down right before you got to the stadium and having to walk ranks on the team bonding activities.
Did you see us walking with our suitcases
I
down
may have
Imhoff?
gotten I may have gotten a text from the one and only Chris Plank that was like, dude, you won't believe this. We're walking. The buses broke down. It was such an interesting sequence of events, right? You don't get to play the SEC
Yeah.
tournament championship game. You're almost to the stadium and the buses break down and you have to walk. I thought it was so funny. I was like, team bonding, excellent.
Oh my, it was also graduation Sunday at Lloyd Noble. So the parking lot was packed. So here we are, just rolling my big green suitcase down Imhoff. It was par for the course. And it actually, the team, they still have a very youthful side about them. So they have their bags and they're singing along as they're walking through our parking lot to get to the locker room. I guess the bus driver reached back to us and said, I think it was about 7 o'clock, and the wrecker didn't show up until 11:30 p.m. So he was sitting in the bus in front of Lloyd Noble a lot longer than we were. So yeah, it was wonderful.
It's interesting, like the chemistry aspect and how teams can pull together. One of the interesting things that I've seen over the years is in the postseason, you guys have kind of been, it feels like the rock that everyone else breaks themselves against. You've played in close games and teams seem to try to speed up, maybe to rush a throw or to create a play and try and step outside of themselves to get the win. And you guys have always been kind of just steady as it goes. Do you feel like this team has maybe that same characteristic as some of the past teams?
I do. I do. Uh, there's connection around the outfield is very connected, and their attitude is like try to hit a ball through a gap. That kind of, when you're playing next to somebody and you're like, okay, me and you, let's just own this. Let's whatever, rush the quarterback, let's sack the quarterback, whatever it is. Like you feel power around you. And it's when you trust who's next to you and you believe in who's next to you. And I think that's what they feel. I believe they feel that throughout the lineup as well. So there's this confidence that grows with that. Like when you are next to someone who has the same mentality you do, it's very empowering. You feel you could do anything. And the connections up the middle with Ilana Agbayani and Gabby Garcia, then Gabby with Nelly, like they're all over the field, and it's hard to break them. They used to get rattled pretty good, but right now they understand they can come back on anybody. They're not afraid of losing. I think that is really, really a big statement because there are a lot of players that think about outcomes. And you have a bad at bat, and you're in the dugout, and you're just griping up a storm and everyone's like, geez, okay. But with these guys, they get their strikeouts, but they might feel something for a second, but then it's like, come on, let's go. We were down 6-1 and came back for the walk-off. And that is just their belief in each other. And you're watching it. There was a double play ball and then a home run. And it's like, if we could have avoided that, it would have been 6-6 or whatever the score was. But they don't do that. We do that. Fans do that. Like, geez, you guys just missed another opportunity. Like, they don't think that way. They're like, no worries, we're good. And then we hit 2 home runs. It just kind of happens that way. They're really interesting. It's hard for me to pinpoint it. I knew the other team and that we've had in the past, and it's just their connection with each other and their elite athletic ability. And this team, I'm gonna have to start calling them elite. I still think of them as young and learning, but they're making plays that are not normal for a young team, which is what's been really fun about it.
Got one more question for you, Coach. And I know that you are laser focused on the postseason with this team, but you are going to coach the Olympic team, and the Olympics are going to be in Oklahoma City. I Does it feel like a culmination of your entire career coming together? Like I firmly believe you're the number one reason that this is happening. And I know there's been a ton of investment from the city and all your players that you've had success, but like the Olympics are going to be in Oklahoma City, coach. It's insane. I've lived here my whole life. I never thought we would host the Olympics.
No, and I don't think we ever will again. Just softball, they're not large stadiums. Like right now, they're just not really large stadiums. If we wanted a large stadium, it's either Hall of Fame or a minor league baseball field that you would have to turn into something. And the Olympic Committee said, you know what? There's rowing and water sports, canoeing. Let's create a small Olympic village there. Let's have softball and those water sports. And um, I was never really interested in being part of USA Softball for a few reasons. And one, because my kids were young, and but I just feel God's calling on this one. And he's saying, hey, it's in Oklahoma City. And you can be at home, train at Love's. That's our training ground, is this beautiful stadium. Where else would you want to be? But you also can play and train in Devon Park, because that's why wouldn't you play or practice where the Olympic Games are going to be? So everything made sense in that way. Chris Sebrin and Craig Kress at USA Softball really encouraged me and made me feel just their organization and their support could make this really be a great thing. So um, I I don't know. I just was so overwhelmed by it and honored by it, but just felt the calling to do it, honestly.
Well, it's going to be all of your players, probably. I mean, why, why not? It just makes sense.
Well, no, I mean, you know what we're doing a little bit different, a lot different, is now we have profiles on every athlete. And that's one thing I said we have to have, is we've got to get their numbers, their offensive numbers, their exit speeds. We got to teach them how their body works, like all the things that we're doing here. 99.9% of the athletes that are in the Olympic pool have not done before. So if you don't make the team, I have all the shortstops profiles, and I can show you why. Instead of saying, you know what, I don't know, we just didn't like your attitude. And that's how it used to be. Like, what do you, yeah, you're just not good enough. Well, what do you mean? So now I can show you something, and hopefully that encourages you to go focus in that area or what have you. So we're really trying to do it in a professional way, and representing USA Softball in a different way. I think our teams have always gone abroad and like, we are USA. And I'm like, that is great. Yes, we are. But we've got to earn things. So we're not walking in like, the cocky Americans that think that we own the world. We're doing it blue collar, just the way OU got where they are is how we're going to get to that gold medal. But our biggest nemesis is Japan. And all the talk is about gold medals and Japan. And I said, I never want to hear you say those two words. We don't, it's too early. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about it at all. Worry about us. Worry about us first. So our first meeting, it was just really awesome. Everybody's fired up, and I don't know. It's another chapter of my life, but the book is going to have to close someday soon. So um, I need to live a real life. This is not a real life. It's a lot of work, but it's a life I love, but I need to reconnect with my husband and take vacations when you want, and hey, let's go to Chicago for the weekend for the concert or whatever. We just don't get to do those things. My life is 24/7, 365, just recruiting, portal, NIL, all the stuff you guys talk about every day is adding more weight on the shoulders of coaches for sure. Now I'm an accountant, I'm a financial planner, I'm things I'm not, and that's what worries us too. So yeah, it's a new age for sure.
What, 7, 8, 9 more years, something like that for you, Coach?
I don't think they'll let me
Please
coach in
don't
a
leave us.
wheelchair at
Please.
third base.
Coach, you're the best.
Thank
We
you
we
guys.
love you and the best of luck this weekend, and we appreciate the time.
Thank you. I'll be looking for you. Behave up there.
No promises.
Schwab Meat has been smoking the highest quality meats, hot dogs, and sausages in OKC since 1912. Go to schwabmeat.com to order any of Schwab's outstanding products and use promo code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab dogs are iconic. I like to keep it simple. Just a bun, dog, mustard, ketchup. Also, the jalapeno cheddar smoked sausage is ridiculous. Schwabmeat.com, code OKBreakdown for free shipping on orders over $75. Schwab Meat, the official hot dog of game days.
Oklahoma's favorite pub, Pub W, is a modern American pub offering a great new take on classic drinks and cuisine. They offer an extensive beer and specialty drink selection with something for everyone, and that's exactly why Pub W was voted best happy hour. And we all love a delicious brunch. Pub W brunch is served Saturdays and Sundays until 2 p.m. with some of the most delicious brunch offerings you'll find anywhere. Now open in Yukon, Oklahoma. Visit one of their 6 Oklahoma locations. Visit pubdub.com for locations and menus.
Insurica has launched a new digital agency introducing Insurica Direct. Whether you're in Oklahoma or anywhere across the U.S., they've got you covered. From small business insurance and health insurance for your employees to insurance for individuals like home, auto, and even Medicare supplements. Insurica Direct's got it all. Start your journey today at insuricadirect.com. Remember, at Insurica, we specialize in you.
Time for some football guys talking basketball, FGTB, and oh my gosh, what a game.
That was awesome. That was awesome. I love the way that, I mean, it was a nervous game, but I loved the way it unfolded. I loved how the crowd was able to really get engaged late. And I mean, I felt like it had an impact on the game for sure.
Just a resilient team, man.
Yeah.
Down 9 with 8.5 minutes to go in the fourth, and Lou Dort swung the game. He swung the game. He hits 3 threes, and in the blink of an eye, it's a 2-point game. Then he also makes a fantastic hustle play to save the ball from going out of bounds, and that ends up leading to a Chet Holmgren layup to tie the game at 94. And I truly believe the Oklahoma City Thunder won that game because Lou Dort stepped up when his team needed a spark. And I could not be happier for that dude because people have been on him, man. He has not shot it well lately. You never question the effort defensively. You know exactly what you're getting from him on that end of the floor. But he's been struggling shooting. And for him in that moment to say, I got it, boys. Hop on my back. It was inspiring to the crowd. He brought the crowd back to life. I think it inspired the rest of his team. It was so awesome. And then the rest of the squad finished the job. But it was I was just so happy for Lou Dort in that moment. He stepped up when they absolutely had to have him, man.
Yeah. And, you know, it's interesting, you know, whenever you get to as the playoffs get deeper and deeper and the competition is incredibly difficult, it does feel like oftentimes the team that's going to win it is the team that has, you know, the X factors or the role players that step up and play and have big moments. And it would have been very easy for Dort offensively to kind of go into a bit of a shell, but I mean, that's what you got to have to win is some of those guys step up and have those big moments. And it was awesome.
Game 3 and game 4, we talked about it on here. I did not love some of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's decision making. But in game 5, man, I thought he was excellent in the last couple of minutes of the game. And what he was doing with the ball, he was playing downhill, he was attacking, but he also was making the right basketball plays. The sequence was he attacks downhill, spins, gets a layup, then split the zone. That's when he throws the lob to Hartenstein. He had the and one where he's just kind of backing down Murray and getting to one of his spots and shooting a nice fadeaway. Penetrate and kick to Dort, who kicks to a wide open Jalen Williams, who hits a massive 3. Hits his free throws down the stretch when Denver had to foul. I thought Shai was excellent down the stretch. And these last couple of games, he did not look comfortable. I didn't think he took high quality shots. I didn't think he was making the proper plays some of the time. And I thought everything he did in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game was, it was fantastic. He was, when you needed your MVP to play at an MVP type level, he absolutely did.
Yeah. And even early in the game, he didn't look comfortable. Some of the shots felt like they were way off and felt like could have been easy for him to get rattled and press and maybe, not make the right basketball move and maybe try and get himself going. But he closed it out, hit a couple of critical shots late, and you got to have your star players as well, and he hit some crucial ones down the stretch. And I'm just glad. I thought Jokic was going to start heaving in 40-footers with whatever shot style that is to get him back in it and make things incredibly difficult. But man, it was a wild finish, and I think it sets them up really good for the next 2 games. To finally feel like they're in the driver's seat of the series, maybe for the first time.
It was pretty funny being in the building. Jokic hitting the twirling 1-footed 3 to tie it at 103. You could just see everyone in the crowd looking around at each other like, is this guy serious?
What are we doing? What is this?
What's going on here? But on the other end of the spectrum, Shai shoots that nice, just in rhythm, pull up 3. You could hear almost everyone hold their breath as the ball was in the air. And then one of the loudest crowd pops you've ever heard when that thing went in. And that was a massive shot from Shai. But once again, my complaint in the last couple games has been the shot quality he's been getting late in games.
Yeah.
That was a great rhythm. He was wide open, honestly.
It wasn't a settle. It was yeah.
Playing within the offense, and just buries. That's one of the biggest shots of his career.
Mm-hmm.
And I just thought that I thought his composure late was fantastic. Jokic was amazing, dude. To come away, what do you have, 44 and 15? Found his 3-point stroke, hit all his. I think did he even miss a free throw? The guy was unbelievable. And I actually thought the Thunder made him work constantly, and he was just that good, dude. But to win a game when Jokic played one of the best games any player has played all season long, especially in the playoffs, I think it just says a lot about this team and their resilience. It's just how deep they are, because those last 8 or 9 minutes, it seems like the Nuggets ran out of gas a little bit, and the Thunder had a little more in the tank.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you. Whenever you look at kind of the minutes that they've distributed, they started playing some more guys a little bit. It had been pretty much a 6-man rotation for them. But do you think that that's starting to be a factor that it's wearing them down?
No doubt.
Yeah.
And it's one of the reasons, like, as much as I want there to be a game 7 in Oklahoma City and to experience that atmosphere, it'd be awfully nice if they can go win tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Because you played an emotional, like they emptied the tank in that game. Like Denver thought they had that game.
Mm-hmm.
And you end up being able to steal it back from them in the fourth.
It's probably better that way than a game where if you jump out to a big lead and they they come off the gas a little bit and say, that's fine, we'll get them in game 6.
Yeah, now they only have one day. Both teams
Yep.
got to travel back to Denver, and they only get one day to rest. And they're playing Thursday night. Game 7 is in until Sunday, so they'd have an extra day. So if your depth is the advantage in being able to play more guys, and also you're the younger team, it'd be awfully nice to go to Denver and win game 6. Now, that's a very big ask. This team clearly, they've been through the battles, man. They are, you're going to get the Nuggets' best shot in game 6 in Ball Arena, but the short turnaround, it should favor the Thunder. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Maybe it's a game where Denver comes out and they hit 23s. You never really know. But I would love for this thing to end in 6. Ted, I know that you and I both picked the Thunder in 7 in this series, but it'd be awfully nice if on the short turnaround the Thunder could go finish this and we could all just say, okay, hey, when's Minnesota coming to town?
They're not going to hear me complain because it's been wild. Well, when you look around the rest of the playoffs, I don't know that I would have got any of the predictions correct on any of the series. Isn't that crazy?
You can go look at all the expert picks. It has been a dumpster fire, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Pacers just gentlemen sweep the Cavs.
Yep.
Sure, why not? I mean, it's just, and we'll get to it in winners and losers, but the Boston situation, their season's over.
Yeah.
But you bringing that up reminds me, this for me, and maybe other people feel differently, but this feels as close as it's ever felt for me that the Thunder can win it all.
Yeah.
And I know we played in the finals. I went to the games, man. I was there. But when you look at that Heat team, you're like, dude, I don't know, man. LeBron, Wade, Bosh, I don't know. It feels like the Thunder can go win it all. And you got to get through Denver first. Like it's just, it's not going to be easy. But for me, this is as close as it's felt, or this is as strongly as I've ever felt, where I'm like, the Thunder can go win the world championship. And it's a great feeling. It's a bit of a nerve-wracking feeling in a weird way. But I think all Thunder fans are starting to feel that. And my hope is like the players aren't focused on that at all. Like they're just focused on the task at hand. Let us handle the big picture, looking ahead type of stuff, boys. We got it. Don't worry.
It's been, I mean, for me personally, it's been a strange roller coaster. I felt going into the playoffs before any of the series started, I was thinking, the Thunder, they're clearly the best team in the NBA. I've got them as the favorite to win it. What are we even talking about? And then once the playoffs got started, I was like, oh no, everyone is way better than I expected. It doesn't feel like we've put everything together yet. And then as it's played out over the last couple of weeks, I'm starting to finally get back to the spot where I feel like we are once again the team to beat.
You have, and I think Minnesota matches up really well against us. I think that's going to be a heck of a series.
It is.
But
They've quiet, it just feels like Minnesota has just quietly been really, really good.
With Steph going out, it just took all the
Yeah.
sizzle out of that series.
Mm-hmm.
But you're going to have the Knicks or the Pacers coming out of the East. I'm telling you, man, it feels as close as ever. I mean,
It's
just
wild.
get through the Nuggets.
Yeah. Minnesota, you go back, you mentioned the expert predictions being a dumpster fire. I mean, how many had it being the Thunder and the Lakers in the Western Conference Finals, and Minnesota handles them pretty easily 4-1, and looks like they're going to do the same thing to Golden State. It's weird because there's been a ton of talk about the Pacers, ton of talk about the Knicks. It seems oddly quiet with Minnesota with how good they've played.
I need the Warriors to come out and shock the Timberwolves in Minnesota tonight. Just make them play another game, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Make them work for it.
I agree.
That'd be awfully convenient. But yeah, man, this is so much fun. And I just don't understand, if you live in the state of Oklahoma, how you are not all in on this. I get that basketball's not some people's thing, but this is an extremely easy team to root for, and they've got a great chance to go and win it all. Like, I highly recommend, if you have not been invested in the Thunder up to this point, just dive in for the rest of the season. Come on. We need everybody, baby.
My anecdotal evidence out there is that everyone is.
Okay, good.
I feel like it has been a quiet couple of years for whatever reason, but I feel like this run, and as it builds, everyone in Oklahoma has re-engaged. Pretty much everyone I talked to over the last couple of days was going to the game last night, excited about the game. It's the topic of conversation with everyone, so it's happening.
The only other thing we need to talk about Thunder related. Did you see the Chris Broussard the tweet?
I did not.
I'm sorry, but OKC's crowd looks too neat in all those blue and white t-shirts. This isn't a freaking classroom. They look like a church choir. They need to look more riotous and disheveled. I'm serious.
I admittedly, when they show some of the wide crowd shots during the game, there is like such a neatness and it's all like perfect that it does give a different it looks way different than what you're used to it looking. Like it's not broken up by any color, so it looks so uniform. I can understand what he's saying, but I think whenever you're there, it's got a totally different feel.
No doubt. Chris Broussard, I cannot stress how little we care about your opinion of us. We are the only fan base in the NBA that can pull off the two-shirt striped look. The only one. It's not even a question. Come watch a game and just feel the energy in the building before you say we're not riotous.
Yeah. It's one thing. It is all in unison. I don't think that feeling comes across on television as good at times. Like just the crowd shots that I saw last night is kind of like they're coming back from a break and they kind of show like maybe an end zone look at the court, and everyone's like sitting down, and because you're coming back from a timeout and stuff, I don't think it gives like the true feeling of what the atmosphere was like.
The last 5 minutes of that game were insane inside that building.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've been there for all the big ones, and it was right up there with them.
Yep.
The energy, just people losing their minds. as the Thunder were able to close that thing out. So, Chris Broussard, I'm sorry, man, but just an awful, all-time bad take.
I,
You need
I,
to look more disheveled. What the hell are you talking about, dude?
it's funny. When we signed on, you said that you could talk. You got your voice. I talked to probably. I'm not kidding. I was at an event yesterday, and there was no less than 10 people, 15 people maybe that were going to the game, and everyone said that I plan on totally losing my voice tonight.
I tried, but I've got a system now, Ted. I have a playoff system for the Thunder. There's a throat coat tee
Ah,
that is involved early afternoon.
game
And then
management.
I came, we talk for a living. You know how it is. We all have our
Push the
methods.
fluids. Yeah.
And then I went through approximately, I don't know, 8 cough drops, 10 through the game. The lubrication is the key. Can't let it get dry back there.
And you don't want to peak too early.
No,
right?
no.
You don't want to pick your moments and then be able to finish strong.
I finished with the intensity of 1,000 suns. It was, dude, so much fun. This is where it was at. Like, as I walked up the stairs out of Paycom Center, I realized that the shirt underneath the t-shirt was soaked. I didn't really realize it in the moment, but I was like, oh, there has been completely saturated underneath. And then I went through the mental exercise of, we won with this shirt. Do I wash the shirt? Do I just hang it up to dry? Like, is that too gross? I don't know. The shirt has been hung up. It is currently dry. Will it be washed? I don't know. I'm not a very superstitious guy, but you got to do what you got to do for the squad, man.
Well, and I will say that I hold no ill will towards the decision makers, but can we have a like a moment of silence for the black t-shirts and everyone agree that we're blue and white for the rest of the way?
The home white jerseys just does it for me, man.
Looks good.
That's the look.
Yep.
It just feels like us, you know?
It does.
There's a time and a place for the blackout, but that felt like us. That felt like the Oklahoma City Thunder.
I agree.
All right, let's finish up with our winners and losers of the week. But first, if you're as passionate about OU sports as we are, now's your chance to make a difference with One Oklahoma. As the official NIL partner of the University of Oklahoma, One Oklahoma plays a crucial role in keeping the Sooners competitive in the SEC. Your subscription goes beyond the revenue sharing cap, directly helping recruit and support the athletes who become Sooner legends. Plus, you'll get access to exclusive events, behind the scenes content, merch, giveaways, and more. Join the team and be the difference maker for your Sooners. Join today at oneoklahoma.com. And 3 things matter in banking: service, service, and service. And First Fidelity Bank's commitment to exceptional service is more than a promise. It's their foundation. FFB has been by your side for over a century, and they are honored to be a part of your journey. Banking isn't about where you've been, it's about where you are headed. Open an account at an award-winning bank today at ffb.com. At First Fidelity Bank, we go where you go. And go to opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED for 10% off our podcast merchandise and the best OU gear out there. That's opolisclothing.com and use promo code TED. Buttery soft and 10% off. As always, Ted, kicks off. Who do you have as your winner of the week?
I had to go Major League Baseball. Now the timing, some people may hate, not like, whatever, but clearing the road, reinstating Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson to make the Hall of Fame, I think was the right move. Some people may have a different opinion, but I think that you have to open up the Hall of Fame to all parts of baseball and tell the story of the sport and of the league. And now it's up to the voters to see what happens. But, that'll ultimately be the deciding factor. But I think Major League Baseball did the right thing here. We'll see what happens.
I've always thought Pete Rose should be in the Baseball Hall of Fame. He's one of the best baseball players ever. That's kind of the whole point of a Hall of Fame. And why can't they just have like an asterisk section of the Hall of Fame with Barry Bonds and Pete Rose, and like anyone that has anything controversial but was incredible, just put them in the asterisk wing. That seems very fair. Hey, Mark McGwire, congratulations. You're featured in the asterisk wing of the Hall.
Well, however, like to me, it tells the story of the sport. And, 100 years from now, whenever you go into the Hall of Fame, I think those stories are worth telling. And, whether or not it's celebrated, however you want to label it, I think it's an important part of the game that has to be shared. I mean, I think at times you can't just put into a dark hole or into a closet some of the bad things that have happened in the game. Let the light shine on it. Let everyone know about it, and maybe they draw their own conclusions. But I think that you got to have those guys and those stories in the Hall of Fame whenever they're worthy. And I don't think there's anyone that would tell you without the blemish and that the negative mark there that Pete Rose is definitely a Hall of Fame baseball player. So just tell the story.
It feels kind of messed up that it feels like they waited to do this after he died, right?
Yeah, that's
and
what
where
I'm saying. Like,
he couldn't feel that satisfaction. His family couldn't feel that satisfaction. It feels a little messed up, man. Like, I wonder how his family feels about it. Like, oh, now you want to do it now that he's dead? Thanks.
Right.
Awesome.
Right.
Appreciate you.
Yep, I agree. I mean, I think it is the right move. The timing, I totally understand that aspect of it, and I agree. But I mean, I guess it is a consolation.
When I won the Warfel Trophy, Pete Rose was down there and like spoke to the entire crowd. I had a great thing. My two speakers at my Warfel Trophy banquet were Pete Rose and Kirk Herbstreit. I had a very solid year.
That is good.
But he was just cussing in front of a bunch of kids. It was, dude, he was telling stories. It was amazing. Got a picture with him. I was just like, yeah, that guy. I always appreciate people that are just 100% and completely themselves, no matter what the circumstances are. And that is absolutely something you could say about Pete Rose.
Yeah, you get to say Pete Rose whether you're, sitting on a bar stool somewhere or in front of a tuxedo wearing crowd.
It was hilarious. I was just up there laughing at everyone. You could tell the crowd, like half of them were like, oh.
How do I react to this?
And I'm just dying laughing. Oh, may you rest in peace. But also, congratulations. Going to get in the Hall of Fame, it seems.
We'll see what the voters say. I mean,
oh, yeah.
The voters are an interesting crowd.
He's not going to get in, is he?
I don't know.
Just put Bonds, put all the guys that were incredible in, and just give them their own asterisk wing. It's fine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Who do you have as your loser of the week?
Well, I thought about going with the Sean Ryan, guard for the Packers, who missed out on his $2 million escalator by 2 snaps. For those that don't know, in the NFL, if you were picked in rounds 3 through 7 and you play in either 35% of your team's offensive or defensive snaps in 2 years, or have a cumulative 35% over 3 years, you get a $2 million escalator, and missed it by 2 snaps. and he started the majority of the season last year, played 88% of the snaps, came out of one of his starts for 8 snaps after a big collision, ended up going back in and playing the rest of the game. 2 snaps, man. Brutal.
Concussion protocol cost him $2 million.
Yeah. And it's a CBA thing too. Like,
Yeah.
even if the Packers wanted to elevate him and pay him, they can't by the rules of how it's been collectively bargained. So I hate that for him, man. That's tough. $2 million bucks.
2 snaps.
2 snaps. I hate it.
If my math checks out, he lost $1 million per snap.
Well, that's right.
2 snaps, $2 million. How about that?
Checks out.
Everyone knows that this is a math podcast.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Thanks for high level calculation there. But I had to settle on for my loser, Josh Pate. He put Oklahoma at number 10 in his, I don't know, is it way too early or post spring rankings? He has Oklahoma at number 10, and while I think it's an interesting pick, he's the loser because of the hate that he's going to get from the college football world in the mentions.
No doubt. Friend of the show. We have Pate on a couple times a year. He's the best. He normally, is this the first time he's dabbled in actual rankings? Because typically his are typically power ratings, which are connected to like betting odds.
Right.
So I thought it was very interesting. Yeah, it's right here. Post spring 2025 rankings. He's got Clemson at 1. I think he may catch more for that than having OU at 10.
Well, here's the interesting thing about Pate. He's not, oh, there you go. There's the Clemson 1, Texas 2, Penn State at 3. The rest of the top 25 looks like Oklahoma's schedule, basically.
Essentially, yes.
He doesn't wing it. He's not a shoot from the hip. He's not I'll just throw this out there and see what sticks. He gets, I don't know what type of necessarily what you would say inside information, but he spent a lot of time around some of these programs. And, the Clemson one is interesting. There are a lot of people that have picked Klubnik as the number 1 quarterback in the country this coming year. And, to me at first it's like, really? Is he the best quarterback? But when you have a lot of people that are kind of making that pick, it should start to tell you that they're getting information somewhere that, whether it's Dabo and Clemson's coaching staff that feels that way, or I don't know, but there seems to be a growing consensus that Clemson's going to be really, really good. And, the Oklahoma pick at number 10, I don't think if you told me that we will have our best 22 available for the entire season, I don't think it's an outlandish pick. But I don't think we have some of the depth at some of the critical spots that we will be able, with our schedule, be able to absorb some big losses. And I think as Oklahoma fans and people that have covered the team, that cloud is hanging heavily over, the upcoming season. It just feels like we had the Giovanni Gibson deal. Now, maybe we dodged a bullet on that. We'll see. But that feels like that's going to be the main thing that is going to tell the story of this season is, will we have our best players available to play?
That, and as I look at the top 20 that Pate put out, you just realize how many guys all of these teams are having to replace. Especially a lot of quarterbacks, man. You think like Texas, new quarterback. Bama, new quarterback. Notre Dame, new quarterback. Oregon, new quarterback. Ohio State, new quarterback. Florida, not new quarterback, but quarterback shoulder hasn't worked for a while. OU, new quarterback. Georgia, Miami. I, I mean, there's so many teams that are having to replace, especially at the top of college football, a bunch of draft picks, and then a lot of teams they're going to have a new quarterback, man. Like it's one of these seasons going into where it's like, okay, if you want to put Penn State at one, not really going to argue with you. I don't know, man. Like it feels pretty wide open heading into the 2025 season.
Well, even for Oklahoma and our schedule, the only teams that we face that are going to have a returning quarterback are South Carolina and LSU. Everyone else that we play,
pretty
new
good
quarterback.
Pretty
Michigan,
good.
Auburn, Texas. Now, these teams aren't replacing last year's quarterbacks with bums. We know that. But it still is a factor, and we fall into that category ourselves with the new quarterback. I think ours is a little bit different considering the connection between Arbuckle and Mateer. I mean, you can almost classify him as a returning quarterback because of that system, but it's unique, man. And quarterback is going to tell the story. It's borderline impossible in this day and age in college football to win the ultimate prize without having either the best or one of the best quarterbacks, in the top five or, the short list of the best quarterbacks in the country. So we'll see who ends up there at the end of the year.
Thoughts and prayers to our man Pate. His mentions are probably a dumpster fire.
Dumpster fire. That's you. You know what you're wading into with the post spring rankings, though, right? Everyone's going to be upset. There's no getting it right.
Godspeed to Pate State. All right, let's get to my winner and loser. But first, this saved me last night at the Thunder game, Ted.
That's right.
That is Mando's.
Sure, maybe smoked and soaked, but it smells good, right?
I still smelt good coming home. Smelt the armpits when I took the shirt off. I was like, I smell great. It's because I'm a Mando man. Mando man. We are Mando men. Mando's whole body deodorant is safe to use anywhere on your body and is aluminum free and dye free. This is my favorite currently, the bourbon leather. But I also you can go onto their website, shopmando.com, use code OK Breakdown, and I like to get the 3-pack. Now, if you go on shopmando.com and use code OK Breakdown, you will get $5 off. This is for new customers. $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code OK Breakdown. That equates to over 40% off your starter pack. Use code OK Breakdown at shopmando.com. That's shopmando.com. Reminder, code OK Breakdown. Please support our show and tell them we sent you. Smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with Mando. Really helped me out last night. Thanks, Mando.
Good.
My winner of the week, I just can't. The Dallas Mavericks. What in the world?
Man,
really? I mean, really?
There has long been a conspiracy theory about the NBA lottery. And this did that no good even
the NBA putting out the video of them drawing the ping pong balls to be like, hey, listen, this was all legit. There's still people going, I don't care. The machine's rigged. You rigged the machine.
I don't know. But the sequence of events would suggest some irregularities going on. But I don't know.
I do not think it's rigged because that would be, I mean, just imagine the size of the lawsuit if it was, okay? That's the way I think about it. But I like to think that the basketball gods just smiled upon Mavs fans
Were Mavs fans happy about it, or did it make them more upset about the trade?
They do not end up with this pick if they keep Luka Doncic. It's just highly, highly unlikely. Pretty much impossible. So they win.
So was them getting the pick anyways.
Yeah, they 1.8% chance of them getting the number one pick, and the Mavs lucky day, man. The reaction to them getting that pick and to just having Cooper Flagg gift wrapped to them. I mean, you laid out all of the number one on the list of the most stunning result possible for the NBA lottery is what happened.
Yeah.
They jumped 10 spots. It got the number one pick. It's just unbelievable, man. And Mavs fans were as angry as I've ever seen a fan base at an organization about the whole Luka thing. All kinds of Mavs fans I know saying they were done with the Mavs. Hey, is there still room for more Thunder fans? Like, yeah, come on, man. Come on. But, I mean, you had Mavs fans giving up their tickets, boycotting games, chanting to fire the GM during games. Like, it was a disaster. Just so much negative energy around the organization. And it'll be very interesting to see how those fans react to getting Cooper Flagg. Like, how will it change those people's feelings? I don't know, Ted, but I have to assume that a lot of Mavs fans are going to come back into the fold.
Yeah, I don't think that they'll probably come back into the fold, but I don't think the pressure on Nico Harrison's going to change, because you can't say, oh, well, ended up being a great move. Because that makes it sound like he staked it all on a 1.8% chance of getting that makes it appear even worse, right? I mean, I don't know. It's a fascinating situation. Did you hear the clip from Greenberg talking about the lottery and that the NFL should move to the lottery because of it to some degree cures the tanking? I mean, I totally disagree. I think the NFL does it the best way possible.
Listen, buddy, I was on a 1-15 team. We were not tanking. Every dude was out there practicing and playing for his job. Like, it's not. And of course, like the front office can tell the coaches, like, hey, don't play this guy, play this guy. But it's very difficult to tank in the NFL.
Yeah.
Just with how the guys are wired.
You can't convince any player ever. If you tank, it has to be done. You can't do it through the players, I guess is the best way to say it. You have to do it through, oh, this guy's got, an ankle issue. Let's hold him out an extra game or two. But the guys that go in are fighting for their life to remain on a team or to get a new contract or whatever. So, and I totally disagree with the NFL going to the lottery system.
When you look at the NBA, there's never going to be a system that's perfect. There never is.
Yeah.
I mean, they may try to make some of the adjustments. It is funny. Remember, these new lottery odds in that system, the entire league voted on it. You know the one organization that voted against it? The Oklahoma City Thunder. The only one.
Yeah.
And it's because Sam Presti looked at it and went, hey, this can really hurt small market teams if the ping pong balls don't bounce your way. Because the small market teams, like, you have to build through the draft.
Yeah.
You're not going to attract a bunch of big time free agents. Now, I think as this new CBA and these new aprons, like, I do think the talent's going to spread out a little bit, because you're just not going to be able to pay all the good players on your team. So guys are going to go somewhere where they can get paid. Like I think you have to give this new system a little more time. But yeah, I felt awful for Utah. I felt awful for Washington. Those are the two worst teams in the league, and they're picking fifth and sixth, respectively.
And basketball, the draft is totally different from the NFL because there's it feels like, and I know there's guys throughout the draft that become star players, but like going into it, it usually the NBA draft feels like a 10 to 12 player draft, and the guys at the top are like a totally different tier. The NFL draft is different. There's so many different positions and needs and elite players that are, you know, linemen, uh, edge guys, receivers, quarterbacks. I mean, there's way more availability of top-notch players, I think, throughout the entire first round. So it's not nearly as detrimental if you had to bump back 2 or 3 picks. You know, it's a little bit different the way it unfolds. But yeah, it's brutal for those teams, man.
Kevin Nagandi saying that the Thunder were getting the 76ers pick on the broadcast was not great. And Nagandi, he is emceed the Warfel Trophy banquet the last couple of years. We're going to talk about this, Nagandi, next year. Not cool, man. And I knew what he said was incorrect in the moment, but still hearing it out loud, I was like, oh, we're going to have the 7th pick.
What happened? There's something going on I don't know about.
But not cool, Nagandi. What are we doing? But other than that, like my takeaway from the Mavs winning the lottery is like the West is just going to be insane, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. You got what the Thunder are doing. Remember the Rockets, they bowed out in the first round, but they were the 2 seed. Like, it'll be interesting to see if they make any moves. The Lakers still have Luka and LeBron. Jokic, as long as Denver has Jokic, they're going to be a problem. You got the Clippers. You got Minnesota with Ant Edwards. Golden State, maybe a couple more years with Steph. I think now Dallas is going to have Flagg, and I know Kyrie's probably going to miss a huge amount of time, but Flagg, Anthony Davis, San Antonio's got Wemby and Castle, back-to-back rookies of the year, and they've got the 2nd pick now. The Western Conference is going to be insane, and it made me start thinking because Adam Silver talked about NBA expansion this week. Seattle and Vegas. Last time I looked at a map of the United States, those cities are in the western part of the United States.
Well, that means they'd have to bump someone over, right?
You would think 2 teams that are currently in the West would go to the East. And geographically,
would be one though. If you've got,
you're 30 to 32. Oh, I guess do you split it evenly?
Yeah, if you add 2, you just move 1 over because right?
Or you'd have 16 and 16, right?
Well,
those 2, it makes no sense for those 2 teams to be in the East. Or, in the West.
It's 15 and 15 now.
Correct.
If you move 1 over, it's 16 and 14. And then you add the 2 west to the West, and you'd be back to 16 and 16, right?
I think that makes sense.
I don't know who the team would be to move to the East, though. Who would make sense?
Memphis.
Yeah, that's right.
Because remember, they came from Vancouver.
Yeah. I don't know.
It wouldn't suck if they moved the Thunder to the East. I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah.
Put at Minnesota.
Yeah.
But the West is in. I mean, it's going to be ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
What happens if Giannis ends up getting traded to a Western Conference team? I hope that doesn't happen. I want Giannis to play his whole career in Milwaukee, by the way.
Yeah.
That's my official stance.
Yeah. I don't know. That'd be cool, though. Expansion is always exciting. I don't know. We'll see.
Would they put one of those like Vegas or Seattle in the East? That wouldn't make any sense.
No, I can't imagine. I mean, for travel purposes, you feel like it would definitely like Memphis is what you feel like would be the best. Memphis or Minnesota, like you mentioned, would make the most sense.
Or Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, New Orleans.
It's
No.
probably not going to be us.
Do you really want to, would you really want to move to
No,
the East?
no. Especially if we win it all this year, baby. We ain't scared of anybody. Let's go.
That's right.
Let's roll.
That's right.
It's kind of like an SEC, OU in the SEC mentality. Like we're going to get to see so many good games. I do
Now,
think they'll have to redo the divisions, and the Thunder will be in a different division.
let me ask you this though. How would they do? Because whenever the NFL expanded, they did the expansion draft, but you got to fill out a huge roster. How do you think that they would do that if they expanded? Would there be available players from other rosters?
I think I do not know, but yes, I would assume that would be the case. I would assume it'd be just like the NFL where you can like protect certain guys and then
Yeah.
but I would be lying if I said I knew how that process was going to work.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Also, Trailblazers up for sale too. So that's an interesting wrinkle. Now I don't know. I assume that sale, like there's something in there that says the team has to remain in Portland, but I don't know that
Yeah.
for a fact.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
My loser of the week. Thought about going with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just best team in the East all season long, and you go out 4-1 to the Pacers.
Pacers are red hot.
Correct. Really nice game from Tyrese Halliburton. Really,
Yeah.
I mean, just Pacers. I mean, got after him, dude. Would they win 3 in Cleveland? Yeah, game
Definitely
1, game
won the
2,
first,
and
dude.
game 5.
Yeah.
They won 3 of them in Cleveland.
It's impressive.
Very. Cleveland couldn't hit a 3 in game 5. Problematic in today's NBA.
Yeah. Can't survive that.
Now, while Cleveland's looking at it going, that's really disappointing, there's Boston.
Hmm.
My loser of the week. Losing the game and going down 3-1 to the Knicks. That's tough, right? Jayson Tatum tearing his Achilles is catastrophic. Season is over. Next season is over because he's going to be lost for that year. Just a brutal, brutal night for the Boston Celtics organization and their fans, Ted. That was tough to watch. And like watching him on the floor come to the realization of what just happened and kind of losing it that hurt my heart, man.
It's brutal.
That was tough.
Brutal. And it's been a tough end of the season injury wise for the NBA. And the Achilles thing for Tatum, I mean, he's still young, 27. Usually that's a older player issue, but maybe it's just that I know about more of them, but is that becoming more of a prevalent thing?
I don't know. I don't know if there's any data to back that up, but it feels very abnormal for a guy like Jayson Tatum to tear his Achilles.
Especially the way he did it. It didn't look like and I don't know, like if you go back to like when Kevin Durant did it, he had a previous injury that he was kind of playing through, so the area was already weakened. And I don't know if that's the case with Tatum, but it didn't appear to be like a super high impact spot where you felt like something like that would occur. But I don't know, you never know.
There was a video of Tatum during the timeout before it happened.
Stretching it maybe a little, or
No, he was actually working on his other ankle. It looked like he was having an issue with the left ankle, and then he ends up blowing the right Achilles. So I don't know if that's sometimes bad things just happen, man. And
brutal.
It was especially brutal. Now the Knicks were going to win the game.
Right.
Like they were still going to win the game. They were in control of that game when it happened, but Tatum was the only reason it was close for Boston. Like he was exceptional in that game, and he was really good on the defensive end of the floor as well. Like Jaylen Brown just had a really tough night.
Yeah.
Big time Brunson game.
Dude, he is fun to watch, man. He is an entertaining player now.
39 and 12. That'll do.
Jeez.
He's like an anomaly. At his size, to be able to put the numbers up he does, it's just, he's inspiring a generation of short kids.
Yeah, and his path to where he is now, he wasn't a guy that was viewed as, hey, this is a superstar player. It's just a matter of time, right? I mean, he was kind of just basically a role player, right?
That's what he was in Dallas. And then when Dallas didn't retain him and he went to New York, I think a lot of people were like, okay, well, his numbers will increase, but I don't think anyone saw this coming.
Yeah, it's awesome.
He's the face of the New York Knicks. He's the most popular man in New York City.
And there's a lot to that, man. They haven't had like a player with like this type of legitimacy in a really long time. And I imagine that place is crazy right now with hoops because it feels like they've been fighting to get over the hump the majority of my lifetime.
It's going to be really interesting Eastern Conference Finals, man.
Yeah.
It is. I have no idea what to expect between the Knicks and the Pacers. But it's going to be fun. I know that. And I feel for Jayson Tatum. And one of the things about Tatum, guy seems to do all the right things, say all the right things. It's like the biggest criticism he gets is he takes too many threes and maybe his kid's around too much. Like if those are your criticisms of a guy that's a star player in the NBA, like I think he's living life the right way. So you hate seeing something like this happen to him, but luckily he already signed the $314 million deal last summer. So that
makes you sleep a little bit better if you're Tatum.
That as you're
I know
going
the injury
through
hurts, but
as you're going through your rehab and you're getting back, I have to imagine knowing that all that money coming your way it's got to be a little comforting, right?
Yeah, it's a little bit different when you're rehabbing an injury like that and your future's uncertain. Can I come back from this? Am I ever going to be the same player? What does it mean for my career? There's some comfort when you get paid about $50 million to do that year-long rehab.
One of the big bummers is like 27 is when I believe like a player in the NBA's prime starts.
Peak. Yep.
That's like that's when you, for whatever reason, like that window, 27 to 30, 31.
Athletically, you still have it. You're still like in your prime, but you've built a lot of experience. You know the league, you know how it operates, you know your game, you know everyone else's game. That's whenever you should really be at your best.
So we never know how this series would have ended. So you don't get that for Tatum's prime, and then you're missing an entire season. And then we'll see what he looks like when he comes back. So this is a guy he's one of the premier players in the league for one of the premier franchises in the league, and we're not going to get him for the whatever the rest of this playoffs would have looked like for him, and we're not going to get him all next season. It's just kind of a bummer for all basketball fans.
Yeah, that's the brutal thing about a catastrophic injury this late in the season. I mean, it's always bad, but if it happens in, November, it's a little bit different story than whenever it happens in the middle of May. I mean, you lose everything from the coming season. But I don't know. I guess one of the things that is, given the circumstance, that maybe is a positive, that he is, to me, feels like he's a adaptable player. He's not like a John Morant who his explosiveness is like the vast majority of his game. I feel like Tatum is a guy that can rely on a bunch of other assets.
Some people would say he relies on his jump shooting too much.
Yeah.
He was awesome in that game. It just, what a bummer. For the East, we want New York to come out of the East, right? Like if the Thunder are going to make the finals, we want it to be against the New York Knicks and not the Indiana Pacers.
Yes, not even thinking about like what the actual on-court matchups are as far as like entertainment value. Yes, I think that I would agree with that.
I have this vision of game 5 in Oklahoma City taking place and Chalamet sitting near me, and us getting nose to nose at some point.
Yes.
I can envision that happening. Bring it, Chalamet. Let's do this.
I like that. I like that.
He's not tall, is he? So I'll be like looking down at him.
Yeah.
Or is he tall? I have no idea. Hell of an actor, but I have no idea. Like, is he a big guy? No clue. He doesn't look like a big guy.
Very doubtful.
I bet his security is very big, though.
Yeah, there'll be some big people in his area.
I'd probably end up getting tased if I do something like that, right? Tased is the very best case scenario.
I'm all for it. Nothing can really ignite a championship run like a fan getting tased in the front row, face to face with a famous person.
Let's do it. Sign me up, man. If that means we're in game 5 of the NBA Finals against the Knicks, sign me up. I'll take a taser for my squad. What up? That would hurt, but hey, it'll be.
Yeah,
I do wonder if Chalamet would come to the Oklahoma City games.
I'm sure. Sure, there'll be a star-studded crowd at both venues.
I like it. We'll see. A lot of work to be done on that episode. Now I'm rattled just thinking about it.
That taser's got you worried.
Yeah, that would not be fun, but it'd be a great story.
Yeah. That's what you got to think about the pod.
My wife would be so mad at me if I end up getting tased on the sideline.
If it sparked a championship.
If we won the championship, yeah, sign me up right now.
Yeah.
If you could guarantee, yeah, no doubt. Maybe I'll ask. I'll ask her later, see how she feels about this ridiculous hypothetical that we've come up with. On that note, episode 527 in the books. We'll have a new podcast that'll drop on Sunday. Going to be a lot of fun stuff to talk about on Sunday. Just a reminder, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Also, make sure you check out our website, okbreakdown.com. Hope you all have a great rest of your week. Have an awesome weekend. And until next time, we appreciate y'all for listening. Do what you always do, Oklahoma. Take care of each other.
Boom.